Good morning, everybody. I'm Tom Roberts from the Greater Coosa Valley Chamber of Commerce. It's a big and important week all across the Greater Coosa Valley because school is out and some of the traditional summertime activities have already begun. This past Monday on Memorial Day, we held the first summer season of the Childersburg Market Day, had a pretty good crowd of vendors. We've got more on the way next week, so that will continue every Monday from noon until 3 in the First Baptist parking lot next to City Hall in downtown Childersburg, with lots of fresh produce and so much more available for the astute shoppers. But we also have the kickoff of summer camp season at the Childersburg Park and Recreation Department, the Limbaugh Community Center. They have a lot of fun things planned. We have something that a lot of folks might not completely understand the timing of. Monday was Memorial Day, but that's only because years ago the U.S. Congress changed the date to the last Monday in May for the celebration of Memorial Day, but the traditional day for Memorial Day was always on that's May the 30th, and so that's when our Post 68 of the American Legion in Childersburg will be honoring those fallen heroes, and that'll be coming up Thursday night at Veterans Park in downtown Childersburg. That's on 8th Avenue, and that ceremony will begin at 6 p.m. and it's located, if you're not familiar with that beautiful park, it's not the biggest park in the world, and it's not a playground kind of park, but it's a beautiful tribute to our veterans, and we also, the fallen on Memorial Day. That'll be between Jerry's Gifts and the print shop. But another big thing coming up during the summertime, we'll have a few more things to talk with you about before we get done, but we have a special guest today to tell us about an action-packed summer at the Rainwater Library, and I know that starts with the kids in the summer reading program. Welcome Steve Cain from the library board. There at the Rainwater Library. Good morning.
Good morning.
And you up and at them this early?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Ready to go.
Well, I know that we have the summer reading program, and y'all are going to kick that off this coming Monday from 11 until 1. You got some special things and some special guests on there.
Yes. Like Tom said, we'll start Monday the 3rd with the meet and greet, and then Tuesday we'll have a book club and a multiplication class for the students, and that will be every Tuesday throughout the summer reading program. Then we're going to have DeCorey Hale, which he's a local author, come and read one of his books to the children.
Now, one, especially one of my favorites, is Ebenezer the Sneezer.
Yeah.
That's a guy who has some allergy problems, and he makes the most of it. That's a fun and interesting. Now, DeCorey's a little bit on the interesting side. He looks like a big old grizzly bear, but he's actually a teddy bear, and he is very intent on being a children's writer. And that's because he's got a little one, and he is collecting books, I know right now, children's books for himself for the personal library at home so he can read to the kids. And that's something that I'm sure he'll be talking about to encourage more parents out there to read to their children. And that's an important key for their being well read and to spark their interest in reading. And that's what the summer reading program is all about, right?
Right.
Sparking kids to be lifelong readers.
Yes, it's to keep their interest on learning, even though they're not in school learning, that, you have opportunities every day in your life to learn things, and that's what we want to do with this program.
Now, as part of that meet and greet you were talking about on Monday, June the 3rd, we have another special guest. That's going to be Mark Crawford, and he's billing himself as the astronomy guru. He's going to have one of his big telescopes for the kids to see. Unfortunately, it won't be nighttime. They won't be able to see the stars and the moon and some of the planets and things like that, but they'll get an idea of what that's all about. But one of the more interesting things about Mark, to me, I hope he'll come back sometime in the future, either to the Rainwater Library or the Limbaugh Community Center, because he's a critter guy too. Besides astronomy, he has all sorts of reptiles and big snakes and things like that, and that's always fun and interesting for the kids, even the big kids like you and me. You into snakes?
No, sir.
No, sir. Well,
No, sir.
when they're in captivity and somebody's taking good care of them, that's not a bad thing. What would you say is absolutely, positively the best thing about the Rainwater Library? I've got my opinion, but I'd like to hear it from somebody from the board. What's your opinion on the best thing about Childersburg's Rainwater Library?
Well, without a doubt, I would have to say the staff that we have. You know, they make it happen. But other than that, the resources that we have available for such a small town and a small library with a small budget, I think the amount of resources that we have is very good.
Well, I appreciate the hard work. You're a hands-on board member. I know you're down there a lot and out representing the library in the community, and that's an important factor for those resources that you were talking about. But Susan Carpenter is the director, and I went to school with another one of them. We like to give each other a hard time, Gloria. And myself. I don't keep up with women's last names. It's not the same as it was when we were little kids.
Yes, McGowan.
McGowan. She was a McKinney before, but she's a true friend to me and to the community and the kids. She's very dedicated, especially to the kids. But a lot of people don't understand what a resource is, how valuable a resource it is to have the library available. Everybody knows about the internet and they go find information, but it's not always reliable. But a library is a place to go for information on just about any subject that there is. And more importantly, I have never met someone of a librarian nature that isn't just overly eager to help you find whatever it is you're looking for, to help out in your quest for knowledge. And that's one of the things I'd say is the superior thing. You touched on it. You said the staff's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Well, what that staff does in helping you find what it is you're looking for is another big. But I'm also a little bit of a history buff. I learned that from my dad when I was a kid. To be vitally interested in history, and y'all have so many wonderful photographs and other things that kind of tell a story that a lot of folks don't know. That's a pretty good tour in and of itself. Just come to the library, whether you're looking for a book or anything else information-wise. You could spend a couple hours in there just studying all those wonderful historic pictures in the library. What are the hours for the Rainwater Library?
Monday through Friday from 9 till 6, and on Saturday we're open from 8 till 1.
Okay. And one of the things I've noticed that y'all have stepped up over the last year or so, y'all are inviting an awful lot of authors from around the region to come and do book signings. So some libraries do that, some don't, but I applaud the fact that you do, because it makes reading a little more interesting when you can meet and greet with the authors and pick up your own copy of their books and put a signature and a special message inside that book, especially if you're going to be doing it for a gift. But again, that's another one of those things that y'all do that stands out to me as far as what the library does to increase an awareness of and a reason to be lifelong readers. That was one of my mom's big things. She was an adult reading teacher past the high school times, but that was something important to her. And so I grew up at the library here in Sylacauga, the story time, and those are some special, special times for kids. And I remember vividly those things. So what are your age groups? Do you have anything special at different times for the kids of different ages? I'm not really aware of.
No, not any organized things for for different age groups. The summer reading program, is up to 11 years old, and that's the only one that we have.
Okay, I know we've got June 3rd. I think it runs through the 21st this year.
That's right.
And what's the day and time of those kind of activities so the parents can get their children involved in it?
Okay.
We're 11 to 1 on the 3rd.
Right.
Okay.
And it's going to be 11 to 1 every day.
Okay.
And of course, like I said, we'll have DeCory and Mark. And let me say something else about Mark that doesn't deal with the critters, but he was gracious enough to purchase a telescope for the library that you can actually check out if an event's coming up that you want to, need a telescope, you don't have one and you would like to see it, then you can come down there and check it out.
As long as you're not just spying on the neighbors.
Right.
Okay, this is for skyward views.
Right. But I want to thank Mark for that. We have a guy coming that day to talk about college camps with the parents, which would be telling them how to set up the 529 funds and things like that to start now preparing for these children to, be in college.
Well, right now, so many of our college students go into debt with student loans that if you start early enough, you can prepare for that day to come and have a lot of the financial burdens of getting an education out of the way before the kids get to that age. And this is going to provide an awful lot of that kind of information. Is that what it's about?
Yes. And on June 7th, Home Depot has always been gracious, and they will come out with one of the projects that they do on Saturday morning with kids. And last year it was a race car, and they'll bring a kit for every kid, and they'll go through with them putting it together, whatever it is. And that's always fun, and the children really like that. And, Home Depot is real good about supporting us.
And getting the kids involved in the do-it-yourself kind of projects. And those kits are very easy to understand.
Right.
And they take the time to teach the kids the different tools they need for those projects. It's a fun thing. I'm glad they partner with the community in so many different ways. And I know a lot of the events and activities that we have around here, and it's nice to find out that they're going to be a part of the summer reading program. They're involved in the community, and that matters.
Yeah, they are. They're good citizens. The 14th, we're going to have Mrs. Elena Craddock come. She's a local artist, and she will do an art class with the kids, and that's always real popular with them, where they'll actually get to paint, their own picture, and she'll teach them about blending the paints and stuff like that, just the basic things that they'll need to know to maybe spark an interest in one person to go on and become an artist, The 17th, we're going to have a clown. And June the 6th, we'll have bubbles and squeak balloons. A lady named Kid, and the bubbles, I had to ask what this was. It's the real big bubbles that, it's like the ones with the little, that you get when you're kids, but this is gigantic bubbles that you can actually get inside of them.
Wow.
And she's going to do that, and balloons.
And you make it fun and interesting with activities like that.
Right.
So y'all have plenty of fun and interesting things to help spark an interest in reading, but day in and day out, the Rainwater Library is a great resource for the community. I know that you have a lot of meetings, book clubs, and other a library club and other groups that come and meet there. I know y'all hosted Alabama Scenic River Trail Board. Normally they only have about a dozen people at their board meetings, but centrally located here in the greater Coosa Valley, they just packed the place. They were adding extra chairs left and right. But
it was the largest crowd that they had for a board meeting.
because normally they have them in the north, the south, the east, and the west, and not central, and they can only get about a dozen or so. They have like a 45-member board, and if I remember correctly, they brought 42 people here that day, and that was a big thing. It also is quite telling that we're in the central part of the state of Alabama, and we're very accessible through Highway 280. We're not that far away from the big interstates, and Highway 21's a busy place along with 76, and we can start hosting more and more activities, and that's a good place to start is the Rainwater Library, along with Butler Harris Rainwater House, Camoga, DeSoto Caverns, and another big part of it. And I don't know where things stand right now. I know that the Historical Commission is trying to work with you guys on adding to your facilities there and taking in those extra buildings over to the side. I just noticed we got to talking and we've run out of time. There are some other things that I urge you to go to the Chamber Facebook page so that you can catch up on all the other events and activities that are coming up. But I appreciate you being with us, Steve.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here, Tom.
Let's get the kids busy, get them down to the library, and keep that interest in reading and learning going forever. We thank you very much for your time, and we'll see you next week.